Have you ever wondered what it looks like to run a $3 million per year business? Well, that's what I show every day in my daily updates channel, where I start them off with some YouTube comment Q&A. This is just to answer questions about the $3 million a year that I'm making, how I'm making it, how you guys could make it as well. And then it's also a growth hack because every time I do Q&A at the very beginning of a channel like this, then YouTube sees the comments that are posted quickly every time I publish a video, and then it ranks my videos higher. So that's pretty cool. Then I do some building and strategizing in public before finally running through my growth strats on YouTube, Instagram, and products. Speaking of YouTube, if you don't know who I am, this is the main channel here. Started it about, I guess, a year and a half ago, and I've since scaled it to 178K subs. And then this is my daily updates channel community tab, where I just like show all of the comments that I've received in my videos. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of this and then just answer all of your questions. And you guys can ask whatever the heck you want here. I'm happy to answer. It's just part of the game and part of the content strategy that I'm running. So 13 days ago, Casper Van Deer asked, awesome video and breakdown. Love that tracking sheet for brand growth. If you guys don't know what that is, I will run you guys through that in a few minutes. We'll start implementing that too. Question, across your social media profiles, could you break down where you started and if you're running all of them at the same time and cross-posting? Or do you have a specific strategy for each platform and did when starting? And what would you tell a beginner $5,000 to $10,000 a month to start with or focus on based on your school funnel, as in which organic strategy to grow and then monetize that traffic through school? So if you guys don't know, I run one of the largest school communities on school. It makes about $300,000 a month, 292 or something like that today. And I do it all in about 90 minutes a day, for the most part myself, which is pretty badass. So I've had a lot of people ask me questions about how school works and how obviously they can start, run, and succeed with the school community as well in recent months. I guess Casper Van Deer is one of them. So yeah, let me run you through everything. I use this page here to track my brand growth across all of the major social media platforms that I'm doing things on. When I started back February 1st, 2025, my main channel had 45,916 subscribers. Now, if we dial the clock back one more year, the main YouTube channel had about 100 subscribers or something like that. So for the most part, I started February 1st, 2024. Okay. From there, I started directly with YouTube. There's a little graph here. So I don't know, like if we could just have, well, let's do this. 2024 over here, 2025 over here, maybe 2026, which is sort of like, you know, getting into the next year. The very first thing I started at was YouTube. Okay. So I started YouTube basically right at the beginning of 2024. So just draw this right across the page. Okay. From there, I believe somewhere around 2025, early 2025, based off of this February, I started my Instagram channel. Okay. And then just a couple of weeks ago, right around here, I started my LinkedIn. Well, you guys can't see that, so let's use purple. I started my LinkedIn. Okay. So right now, the three primary lead sources for me are YouTube, number one. Let's make this rainbow. That'll be fun. YouTube, number one, Instagram, number two, and then LinkedIn, number three. And this is actually shown to be very high converting relative to the YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I should also note that about 194 days ago, so I guess right around here, I believe, I started my daily updates channel as well, which is kind of what you guys are watching right now. Let's just go DU. So yeah, I would say we have four main content methods right now. YouTube, obviously being the oldest, most authoritative, and then just like the highest value. Then daily updates next, then Instagram, and then LinkedIn being the recent one that we're experimenting with, and it's working pretty well. And when I say we here, to be clear, I'm not managing the LinkedIn profile myself. I have somebody helping me come up with content for LinkedIn. The way that I always see things is you should waterfall based off of the core content production outlet that you have. So my core content production outlet was YouTube, obviously. I make most of my stuff at YouTube. And then everything else just waterfalls down from there. So, you know, I start with YouTube. All my ideas are YouTube. I make videos on all sorts of topics. And then, you know, if we need to make a LinkedIn post or something like that, we take concepts directly from the YouTube. We take a video idea from the YouTube and then just convert it into text or something. This is what more or less every major content creator nowadays is doing. They have like core platforms, then they have platforms where they repurpose the content. And, you know, if they produce enough content on the main platform, nobody knows that it's repurposed content. And it just seems really in line with their brand style vision and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's what I'm doing on the LinkedIn. Instagram's kind of a different case, I guess, because I'm producing content there. But yeah, that's that. And then was I running them at the same time? No, obviously not. And do you have a specific strategy for each platform? Hopefully I've answered that question. What would you tell a beginner to start with or focus on? Personally, I think YouTube is still criminally undervalued. The thing that's the most important to know is that like you could have 10x the following on Instagram than you have on YouTube. And that would convert like 10x less. The reason why is because of the number of minutes of content people consume of you. Okay. That's really the metric that I think everybody needs to focus on. So, like, big unlock here for a lot of people. If you want people to buy your stuff, let's make this a little smaller. It's kind of big. If you want people to buy your stuff, what is the total number of minutes of content they watch? Well, I'll tell you, on YouTube, okay, I get like 5-minute average watch time or something, which is quite high given my, channel growth and size. What does that mean? That means if somebody watches my video, they literally will watch like 300 seconds of it, right? Okay. Instagram, my average watch time is like closer to 5 seconds. Okay. I don't know for sure actually, but it's probably closer to 5 seconds, which means if I get a view, I get, 5 seconds, which proportionally speaking is 1/60th, okay, of what I get on YouTube. What does that mean? Pound for pound, the size of my audience, the number of views are basically, in terms of monetizability, playing at about a 60x ratio. So if I get, one view on YouTube, that view is worth 60 views on Instagram, at least when it comes to like buying my stuff. Why? Just because human beings buy things from people they're comfortable with, people that they like and they trust. And they would not be watching my content and liking or trusting me unless they, enjoyed the content to some degree, obviously. So self-fulfilling prophecies and whatnot. But yeah, it converts at about a 60x ratio, I would say. What that means pragmatically is my Instagram channel gets me maybe like 2-3% of the Maker School signups right now. And then my YouTube channel gets me the other overwhelming 90 whatever percent. And LinkedIn's already on par with Instagram, which is interesting. But I think it's just because you have to consume more LinkedIn content. You have a higher like consumption time on LinkedIn. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Matthew says, Nick, I'm glad to hear you've reclaimed your mobility and strength in your shoulder. I sometimes think about how immobility is incredibly disempowering and this discouraging, especially for a lot of older folks. Money proxies freedom, so does health. Always your consistencies return your rewards. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not going to lie. Ever since my shoulder got better, I used to not be able to raise it past about this point because I had this thing called brachioraditis last year. My confidence has been through the roof. It's been much, much easier to like make gains and strides in the gym. And my life has just been fantastic since. So super stoked about that. So glad that I am regaining mobility. I was basically getting ready for a life where I just would not be able to put shampoo on with my right hand or, get cups out of the cupboard. We're doing lots of like, rotator cuff exercise and stuff like that to minimize the probability of there being something like that again. But hey, is what it is. Saraev says, thanks for all the great content. Not sure when to purchase domains to warm up my emails because I don't know if I should start on Upwork or do cold emails at the same time. How would you decide? I would do Upwork and cold emails at the same time. Cold emails have a 21-day warm-up period that is sort of obligatory unless you buy pre-warmed. So just buy all the stuff now and then send Upwork applications until the 21-day period elapse. And then once it's elapsed, then start sending cold emails too. Best time to plant a tree was 21 days ago. Second best time to plant a tree is today. So that's how that works. Or Sam says, when you're in the process of finding your first client, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? I often feel like I understand the problems and what needs to be done, but I'm not confident I can actually deliver, especially when it comes to the technical side and whether the logic workflows I implement are actually sounded done the right way. Any advice on how to deal with that? Well, the process of finding your first client is an extraordinarily temporary one, to be clear. So, imposter syndrome is not a temporary one. You will feel imposter syndrome for many, many months or years. I still feel imposter syndrome to some degree. So I think that's just very normal, and you should just acknowledge that you're not going to solve that when you're getting your first, after you get your first client. It's not like after you get client number 1, you won't have imposter syndrome anymore. You're still going to have imposter syndrome. It's just the degree of your imposter syndrome will go from like 100% imposter to like 90% imposter to 80%, so on and so on and so forth, along with the number of clients. So, as like the number of clients scales, the imposter degree or whatever goes down. So, yeah, you often feel like you understand the problems, what needs to be done, but then you're not confident you can deliver. That's a confidence problem, right? I wish it was as easy as just like, oh, you should think better and you should not suffer from those confidence issues. But typically the only way to do this is just to deliver, and then you will have a reference experience in the past that will inform future you that you can actually do the thing that you are promising people to do. I guess another piece of advice here tactically is just offer a guarantee for your first deal. Then it doesn't really matter, right? Like, best case scenario for the client, you build, deliver, it works fantastic, and you generate them a return on investment, and then you make money. Awesome. Worst case scenario, you build, deliver, and then it doesn't really do anything, and then you just give the client the money back. You've earned a bunch of experience and you pay down a bunch of client management debt, then the client has earned hopefully some understanding of how things go with a project like this and maybe how to scope stuff like that. Plus, they've learned what not to choose in a service provider, aka you. So, like the way I see it, it's positive. Hit X first says no blueprint ever works like you expect. It's always 70% guesswork, 30% luck until something clicks. Yeah, for sure. And I think the sooner that you can acknowledge that you are not going to have all the answers in today's economy for anything that you do, the sooner you can just start moving forward anyway and then achieving the sorts of results that you want. So everybody's like, oh, how did you know when to start this? How did you know when to start that? The reality is I didn't. I just started them. And then in hindsight, looking back, everybody's like, wow, you must have had a grand plan for all this. It's like, no, I just made some of my attempts work, and now you only see the ones that actually work. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how, if X marks the spot over here, and you take all of these paths, this is you. Let's just pretend we all start at the same spot, and we're trying to take all of these paths, and then, the vast majority of them don't actually work, right? But then, I don't know, 2 of them do. So this one did and that one did. The point I'm trying to make is like, when people are at this vantage point and they look around, they'll only see these 2. They'll only see the paths that actually made it. So they're just going to assume that those are the only paths you tried. In reality, you probably tried 100 times the things that, most people see and can appreciate. Vision by Nundy says, back with a question. Launched my email campaign 3 days ago. Sent out 450 emails, 2.8% reply, 1.33% positive reply. Awesome. Email with icebreaker, basically asking if I can show the outbound system on a 10-minute call. For the first email campaign ever, my numbers are defo. Not bad. Keeping in mind it's summer holiday over here, got at least 50 automatic replies. Booked my first call on the second day. How would you go about it? Where'd you look at finding the low interested lead and booked call percentage? I don't know what that means. I don't know what FUP mail day means either. Follow up? Is that what you meant? Yeah, probably follow up. Yeah, to make a long story short, man, like you're crushing it, dude. Like I don't really think there's any advice that I need to give you. 1.33% positive reply rate on like your first email campaign is honestly bonkers. I don't know what copy you're using. I don't know what niche you're using. I don't know what offer you're making, but like it's pretty solid. I think a lot of people wish they could get a positive reply like that. Even my watch me start and sell videos were just cresting that. And I'm somebody that's done this for many, many years. So you're doing good. I would not worry too much about everything you're doing. I would just try and get as many opportunities as possible from this campaign. Send 4,500 emails. If you have a 1.33% positive reply rate on 4,500 emails, you'll have something like 60 opportunities generated, right? 60 opportunities, you could maybe book a third of them, hypothetically, okay? Now you're at 20 booked calls, and you could send 4,500 emails in a month. 20 booked calls in a month is huge. You could totally grow a business with that. Did anyone tell your voice is captivating? I just want to listen to you 24/7. Thank you. Wow, that is... Whew. Frida says, hey, Nick, please help us look for jobs. Can you help us make ATS-friendly CVs? No, I can't. I don't even know what the hell goes into one of these things nowadays, to be honest. I haven't or found a job in so long that I have no idea. ATS-friendly, applicant tracking system friendly? Yeah. But no, I have no idea. I'm going on Upwork right now, says Inosuke Demon Slayer. Should I use my own face or a cool hacker pic? I don't think my profile pic makes that much a difference if my presentation is great. No, this is all just silly. You should definitely use your own face. This is a corporate platform. People are looking to work with you, not some facsimile of you. Use your real face. Recording custom looms for proposals make any difference? Well, if they didn't, then I definitely wouldn't be recommending this, my bro. So 100% makes a big difference. Definitely make sure that if you want to succeed on this sort of thing, you're gonna have to maximize the probability of every individual one going as far as possible. How can you close one client in 20 proposals? Because I used up all the money I had. Well, send custom looms, dude. Because, if you're going to spend the whole reason I advocate for custom looms, 2 reasons. One, if you're a newbie, custom looms allow you to get a bunch of sales reps in basically for free. So, whereas back in the day, you had to do like cold calls, you had to like sit down and have client meetings, stuff like that. Nowadays, you could just send a bunch of looms and then get better operating and articulating your value propositions in a zero stress, zero cost environment. And then, once you're good enough, then you can actually migrate over to calls. And it's no problem. That's number one. Number two is because customizing your outreach pushes your dollar as far as it could ever possibly go. It maximizes the value of the money that you spend on connects on Upwork and stuff. So if you're going to spend, all the money on these connects anyway, you might as well maximize the probability that if somebody actually does watch your stuff, they do convert. So hopefully that answers all of your questions. Okay. Yeah, I think there are some fundamental issues here probably if you are considering not using your own face on Upwork. So I'll just leave it at that. But hopefully what I'm saying here makes sense. People just want you to, people just want you to be real, man. Thank you, Kalai. Jared says, no wonder you have so much experience that makes you speak with conviction. You failed more than a number of times people have even tried. Yeah, absolutely. I failed many, many times, too many times to count. Wow, Nick, thanks for sharing this. I totally dig your everything is lean approach while focusing on what actually matters and on productivity. There are way too many membership owners who overcommit, like 5 calls a week, really, and feel they have to over-deliver while actually overwhelming everyone. Kudos. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the school playbook for me. Business Griffin says, hey, Nick, I want to get your thoughts on an idea. It's a cold outreach machine for businesses, SMMA, coaches, etc. It sends short, personalized looms to prospects. We find leads, make personalized scripts with deep research info, then we use Tavas and HeyGen to generate a video that feels like it was just made for them. Very, very well done. A custom thumbnail makes them click, and emails and LinkedIn messages them automatically. I do want to get your thoughts on the idea overall. If it's worth the try, how would you approach building something like this? Oh, okay, so you haven't actually built this. Yeah, for sure. Well, this is cool. I built something very, very similar to you. It's great. You know, like I ran into issues at the time where when I was building this, we had like a hidden API to do the Loom upload, and that worked okay. It was a pain in the ass to do, but like we made it work. I don't know if you could still, upload to Loom via hidden API. Loom has auto GIF embeds when you send an email, which is why it's such a good option for this stuff. And then obviously people are just used to Looms and whatnot now, right? Like it's entered the verbiage, kind of like Google. So what are my thoughts on this? How would I go about building this? How I'd go about building this is I would use a model where you say a variable like name, and then it replaces name using some trained model of your voice with the person's name. So, hey, name, it gets replaced with, hey, Griffin. There are multiple models that allow you to do this. I used one back in the day called Be Human, which was reasonable. While you are saying the name, okay, hey, Griffin, grab the little Loom window and move it across the screen so that if there are any artifacts with your mouth, people don't see that. So, I mean, can I do this here while showing you guys? It'd be like, hey, Griffin. So just like while I'm going Griffin, right? That little period of time, you would not see my mouth. Then have multiple different templates, okay, for your Loom video. One for B2B agencies that you are selling cold email to, another for B2B agencies that you're selling fulfillment systems to, another for B2B agencies you're selling whatever to, and then one for manufacturing companies you're selling cold outreach to, another for manufacturing companies you're selling fulfillment to, whatever. So actually record like 30 templates. And then when you do the outreach to people, have AI filter them into one of all of the categories. So like, when you are scraping a list, it'll be like, oh, Peter at whatever agency. We'll feed in all the information about whatever agency to the AI model, and then ask, hey, what category does it fall under? This, that, this, or that. So then you categorize it, use that to select a template, and then stitch your customized video with their first name with the templated section. And at the end of it, you'll get something that's like, hey, Peter, hope you're doing well. I've been following you for the better part of the last couple of months. Really love your stuff. I love how you have this like no frills approach to, content and whatever, and all those various things. I know this is out of left field. I currently operate a content business that does $300,000 a month. When I came across your stuff, I just knew that I had to record this video because I think I can save you X, Y, and Z dollars with a very simple tweak. To make a long story short, get in your pitch. Okay, now your pitch seems super customized because you just spent the first few seconds saying their name, and then like glazing them and edifying them and talking about how great their approach is, even though keep in mind, you have no idea who the hell they are, and this is a robot, a template. You have a templated pitch, which means that you could like really squeeze the juice out of every word in that pitch. And then the perceived thing on their end is that, it was 100% them. And then, like you may need to do some, like what I'd recommend is you have some app that takes a screenshot of their LinkedIn, Instagram, or whatever social media platform that you are going to be like reaching out to them using like source data. Sorry, I think I screwed up my camera there. And then overlay the Loom video thing on top of that while you do the little grab. Okay, that's the whole idea. That's basically what I did. It worked pretty well. We didn't get it like 100%, but yeah. Your net analogy was pretty dope mentality. Thank you. Let's get down to 12. I'm confused on how to provide some short value in my Loom video without providing the full solution I plan to pitch them on. Can you give me an example how you might go to someone's website or funnel, find quick value to provide them in a Loom video? Thanks, Nick. Keep up the great work. Not allowing these gurus to gatekeep the sauce. Yeah, hopefully I actually just showed you what that looks like. So you go on some resource and then you just like pitch them with whatever predefined offer. You would just have like 3 or 4 different templates. So You'd have like a cold outreach one. You'd have a fulfillment system one. And then you just like cross your fingers that they're suffering from that problem, to be honest. Like the marginal cost of sending outreach to somebody that is not the person that you want is actually very, very low. So you should just send the outreach anyway. Obviously, if you're using customized videos, it's a little bit different. Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Fatima. Very much appreciate that. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. First things first, let's just do our brand stats really quickly because I got a weekly community call coming up that I want to make sure I can prep for. So brand stats, main channel here is at 178,383. So it looks like our growth has been steady over the course of the last 2 weeks with no posting at about 0.3%. That's pretty crazy to me. Let's just do a little bit of math. 0.3% mathematically is growing by 1.003. If I raise this to, how many months are there left in the year? Let's say 4 months. So it's 120. If I raise this to 120, I multiply this out. Basically, my channel will be 1.4 times the size it is today, which will put me at about 250K subs. And that's assuming that I don't actually grow at all. That's assuming that I maintain relatively stable at about 0.3%. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. 250K subs with literally no additional work done. Jesus. The momentum and inertia in content is crazy, because you can make content like months, years ago, and then it can still continue delivering for you. And a lot of my content is. Maybe that's what I'll very quickly show you guys. Let's see what piece of content is delivering the best. I should note that I don't recommend anybody get into content until they have some success under their belt. But look, I'm still generating 41,000 views every 48 hours. I mean, I peaked at like, I guess 3.5 times this, but yeah, I mean, $6,000. And the last video I posted was like 3 weeks ago. $7,000 actually. That's wild, huh? Check this out. Top content in this period, 77,000 views on this full course that I made forever ago. And it looks like every day it's still generating me like 3,100 views. There's some fluctuations for sure. YouTube search seems to be the primary determinant right now, which is pretty badass. If we can zoom it, can we zoom out a little bit more? Top content in the last 28 days. Yeah, it's been pretty stable. If we go, I guess we can't go last 90 days, can we? Yes, we can. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been really, really stable, remarkably stable. I made over $3,000 from this one video. Wow. Anyway, cool. Hopefully you guys appreciated this and I could help answer some questions and provide some value. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to just leave them down below any one of these daily updates videos and I'll help you get to it. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of the day and I'll catch you all tomorrow, okay?